Hello, hello. So the stream should be starting in the next moment or two. Once it starts, then you'll see the individual come onto the screen. And this is a hearing from today, December 31st. This is going to be the last parole board hearing from Connecticut for the year, if you will. And you know what? I just noticed something was off here on my scrolling text down at the bottom the other day, so I gotta go ahead and fix it up. Let me see here. How is everybody doing today? Any exciting plans for the new year? Let me see. Welcome to you have a collect call from you are watching. I forgot to put the ing on there. Let me watch a live board of parole hearings. Feel free to ask any questions. Any questions you have in the live chat, please. All right, cool. Updated, and that's good to go. All right, so that is done. Hey, what's up, Tammy? How's it going? Let me see here. Hey, happy New Year. Yup. Just I need to start getting ready. I've been lollygagging it today. I did some video visits this morning. Live chat. Let me fix this up here. So right now we're just waiting for the individual to show up on the screen. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over that. Plus, anyways, this hearing took place a little bit earlier on. I think it started at about 6 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. I didn't feel like rolling out of bed this morning, so we're catching it on. We're catching in the rebound. All right, I seen some action over there. I seen some legs moving. Let me see if this is working here. Yep, it's working. All right, all right. The first individual coming up. Hey, Anna, how's it going? Happy New Year.
Yeah, Mr. Sanford.
Oh, Sanford.
Perfect, thank you. Welcome.
Damn, hey Tammy, that's tough right there. No plans for me. I have a broken ankle and just had 2 surgeries. Well, hey, hopefully you heal up quick and you're able to be on your feet as soon as possible. All right, so we got the individual rolling up. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself on mute and let's go ahead and watch some of these parole board hearings. 0-0. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome.
Good morning, my name is Officer Williams. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. And this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Parties at 12. All board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation for this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Polk.
Deborah Smith Palmieri, panel member Barry. Good morning.
Good morning, Terri Sanford.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Terri Sanford, 424-949.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Terri Sanford, 424-949. He is serving a sentence of 8 years, executed, suspended up to 3 years with 3 years of probation for 2 counts of possession with intent, violation of probation, and illegal sale of a pistol. As of today, records reflect the collectability date of March 1st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There's an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and showed the offender has completed the following programs. He's currently working a job as a tierman. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation scores, The offender's overall score for a sin rating falls in a very high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning. Today, I would like to take the chance to say thank you and apologize to the victims in my case, which would be my family, my community, and everybody I let down in this situation here that I put myself in. So I just want to take the chance to say thank you again for giving me the chance to speak. Over the last 15 months, I've been able to figure out what I wanted to do with myself as far as reintegrating myself into the community and giving myself the chance to reflect on all that bad actions I made over the time by, selling drugs, being out there, running with the wrong people, doing the wrong things, and just not giving myself a fair chance at life, just cutting myself short. So over this time where I've been incarcerated for the last 15 months, I've been doing various programs. I did voices. Voices showed me that even though someone isn't physically victimized, doesn't mean that they're not a victim. Like my family, they're emotionally and mentally victimized by me being taken away from them and being in this situation where they gotta see me do visits and talk to me through the phone for 15 minutes. And if something goes on, I gotta hang up, or just, sending me money every day. People work hard for money and things are not cheap out there. So I feel like I was selfish and putting myself into the situation where now I'm thinking I'm out there doing what I have to do to take care of everybody else. And now look at me trying to take the fast route and I get the short end of the stick. And now everybody has to take care of me. So me thinking that I'm helping everybody is just putting everybody in a deeper hole. And it took me to come here to realize that me trying to go out and do shortcuts and sell drugs and do all these things that I felt was right because I'm seeing other people in my environment do it and it's wrong. It doesn't make it right because I'm not. I used to think that because I didn't get caught that I was doing the right thing or it's working, so keep going doing it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And it's never right to do the wrong thing. Like it's never going to be okay. It doesn't matter if you're not being caught or if they don't know now or if you're getting away with it, keep doing it. It's none of it's right. So it took me 15 months of my life that I'll never get back, 15 months of my family life they'll never get back, to come in here and to do, sit here, have to depend on other people, go to NA meetings, AA meetings, I did a program called Smart Recovery. And I always thought that being an addict was someone who do drugs or someone who drinks. And just because you drink or do drugs, that doesn't mean that you're the only type of addict. An addict is someone who's addicted to people, places, and things, like various things like carrying a gun, selling drugs, women, driving fast cars. The common things that people in poverty think is right. Those are all addictions, and those are all the wrong addictions. So it's a blessing and a curse that I was here over this over this last couple of months to get myself right and to change my perspective on life. I've been in trouble a couple of times over the way. It was a couple bumps in the road here, fight. I got into stuff I put myself in, stuff I never had to be in. So every situation that I've been in over the last couple of months allowed me to take myself back and just to rationalize situations and go over the various frivolous situations I put myself in that I never had to put myself in. It all started from 15 months ago when I was home. I put myself in a situation I never had to be in. I was working a good job. I was a shift leader at Taco Bell for about 18 months. I put myself in every situation I've been in, and it took me to come here to pull back from reality to realize that all the situations that I'm going through, I'm putting myself in. Nobody's putting me in these situations. So I'm just thankful for the time that I've been here and that it allowed me to get myself together. And I'm just thank you again for allowing me to come in front of you guys and speak. I have a job waiting for me, AFTC at a flagging company. My mom already told the supervisors and stuff about me. They said when I get out there, they'll put the process through, and I'm just trying to get out there and work and take care of my family the right way.
Thank you, Mr. Sanford. So what we're gonna do is we read about your background, what you've done since you've been in. Your interview with the parole officer. Based upon that, we have some questions to arrive at your suitability for parole. And we're going to start the questions today with board member Smith Palmieri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Sanford. Thank you for your opening statement. I heard you say a lot of positive things. Sounds like you have some insight into your behavior.
Yes.
I am in, it was very troubling, I want to say, and disappointing to review your file. You were on probation for selling drugs and having a firearm, and then you're out on probation and you've got two more arrests for selling drugs, and there are guns involved. Am I correct in my review of that?
Yes. Yes. So I was on probation for a firearm, and I came home, I finished parole, and things were going a little slow for me. So I did the wrong thing. I took matters into my own hands, and I did the wrong thing. I went back out there. I resorted to my own ways, and it ended me right back in the same place. So I came to the conclusion that it's no right way to do the wrong thing.
That's very true. There is no right way to get ahead, no wrong way to get ahead. Right? When you're doing the wrong thing, you're never going to get ahead.
Ever.
And what did you mean when you say things were going a little slow? What does that mean?
I just such as I had a job, I was working, and bills were stacking up against me. And instead of doing what the normal citizen to do, work harder, I took a shortcut to work less time, but to make more money. And it set me back. It set me back 15 months of my life that I could have been out there working, where I could have been doing the right thing. It put me back. So me trying to take a shortcut to get ahead, all it did was take a shortcut to bring me back.
So that's very true. Very true. One step ahead, two back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you out on bond while these cases were pending?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing while you were out on bond?
So I was working at Taco Bell for some time, but when my background check started to kick in, they let me go. They told me I could come back once the case and stuff is resolved, but I ended up being incarcerated after the time. So for the last, I want to say 3-4 months, I was struggling. I was relying on family, my mom, and things are expensive. So I'm putting a toll on everybody else around me because I was selfish and put myself before everybody else.
I hear you saying a lot of positive things. I hear you talking about the thinking process and how you're making decisions at the time, how you see yourself hopefully making better decisions as you go forward.
Yes.
It is troubling to us that you still are having some troubles at the facility there. You have 3 disciplinary reports. Most recently, just 6 months ago.
Yes.
You had a fight about 8 months ago in March.
Yes.
Why are you struggling to follow the rules?
As I said earlier, every situation that I've been in, I put myself in, and I had to realize that I had to pull back from just being around everybody and falling into what everybody else is doing. I just had to grow up. So I know I came across some troubling situations where it might be alarming to you guys. And I'm not saying I was right or I defended myself. I was wrong. It's wrong. Anything wrong I did, I take full accountability for. I was wrong. I just feel like every situation that I went through, as in taking myself back from the situation, going to segregation, getting that time to think, it made me a better person and helped me to change my perspective on everything and how I look at things. So over the last 6 months, I've just been working on myself and trying to be the best person I could be, moving on in life so I could be there for my family.
We hear very often that some time in segregation gives you time to think about
Yes.
what's really important.
Yes.
You know, because dust doesn't affect you. How many times do we hear that you can't have those visits, that your family can't see you?
Yes, you can't call. They take your phone calls away, and that takes a toll. It's already bad enough. My family's an hour, 15 minutes away from where I'm at. So me being not able to call because I put myself into a situation I'd never had to be in, it's all signs of me being selfish. And it took me a couple months to realize that I had to grow up, or I was going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Coming here, being in front of you guys, this is all a waste of y'all time, a waste of my time. I can't keep living my, not a waste of y'all time, because this is your job, but I'm just saying, I'm just gonna keep being in front of you guys if I resort to the same things and keep going through the same stuff.
Right?
I
Jail is a
apologize.
waste of your time.
Yes, of course, yes. This is time I can never get back.
So let's go back a little bit. So you were on probation, and when you were on when you got arrested for probation, there were 4 guns in the apartment when they arrested you on those original charges, correct?
Yes. Can I correct something? That was before I was on probation. So the gun charges was what I was on probation for. So
Yes.
I was incarcerated for that. I came home. I was incarcerated for the guns. I came home. I did parole. When I got on probation, I fell on hard times and I resorted to drugs.
And what I'm working my way to is you're on probation for a gun charge.
Yes,
you come
ma'am.
out, you do parole. Now you're back, and so you get arrested for a gun charge and a sale charge. You do that time. You come out. You finish parole. You're on probation. Now you got 2 new warrants for selling drugs, and there's guns involved, right? So now you're still involved with firearms. You have a gun in the car.
No, ma'am. I believe I don't believe if it's
There
up
was,
there.
but it was their co-defendant.
Yeah, you weren't charged with it, but there was a gun in the car. You were in the passenger seat, and the person driving the car had a firearm, a magazine, crack, marijuana.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry about that. Yes, ma'am.
So here's my point. This is my point. One is you're 23 years old, right? You're missing your family. They live an hour away. So the next time you get arrested for being involved with firearm and the federal courts pick you up and you then get sent out to Iowa, Kentucky, New Mexico, then your family is 8 hours away. You'll go years without seeing your family.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, I really think you need to think about what the community is doing about the gun violence on the street and
Yes,
selling drugs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The task force that's out there, you're not just getting arrested because they happened upon you.
Right. Right.
Yes.
They were watching you.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I review the case, I think to myself, you're very lucky that the federal courts didn't pick this case up.
Yes, ma'am.
Your release plan is to live with your with your girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's the mother of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you mentioned a flagging job,
Yes, ma'am.
right? I'm gonna jump back a little bit. So you said you did the Voices program, and you
Yes,
mentioned Smart Recovery. Did you do Smart Recovery, or you just know about it?
No, I completed it.
Okay, why did you do Smart Recovery?
I did Smart Recovery at first just to join and see what it was about because it was a volunteer program. So they said just come, fill it out, and see if you like it. So at first I was thinking it was like a drug program. So when I went in there, it actually wasn't. They had some people from this company called Diligence Training come down. They had a lot of positive quotes and good like self-help things, helping us with our mindsets, things we want to do, and just to like never stop, keep going. Like if you feel like it's getting hard, you fall on hard times, just keep going. They was telling me that they started off in a garage doing fitness plans with people, and they felt like giving up. And they told us that they just kept pushing, like through hard times, through whatever it was, rent, being homeless, being on the streets, they stuck with their plan and they pushed through. So that helped me get the mindset that it's never over. It's never over. If you just keep following through with what you want to do and doing the right thing, that you could push through anything.
Okay, right. I did notice while you were on probation, you tested positive.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you think you have an addiction problem?
Yes, I have a problem. I had everything I was out there doing was me just moving too fast. I was incarcerated at a young age. I came back out at a young age, and I'm just moving too fast. Yes, I'm still young. I was just moving too fast. I never gave myself a fair chance. When things got hard, I stopped. When life got hard, I resorted back to my old ways, which, like I said, led me back here. So there's no shortcuts in life. There's no shortcuts in life. So I'm trying to live the narrowest path in life that's actually possible. I'm willing to take the resources that parole offers, such as various housing, schooling, trades. I'm willing to go 110% forward and on a straight path than resort back here. And like you said, with being incarcerated 8 hours away from my family.
You know, Mr. Sanford, you sound good. You sound like I said earlier, that you've given some thought to your decision making, which is important, which is what we hope for. I have some concerns, the nature of the offenses, the fact that it was 2 new arrests for selling drugs, not 1, that there's still guns involved. You're not charged, but there's still firearms involved. So you're still you're still living that life. And then you have these 3 new disciplinary reports.
Yes.
So I do have some concern. I do appreciate that you took the Voices program. Are you working at the facility?
Yes.
As a chairman?
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
For the last 4 months.
4 months? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Third Chair. So, Mr. Sanford, I had notes that when you were on parole, you were testing positive for THC, cocaine, and Oxycontin.
Yes.
Why didn't you really reference that? When you were speaking to my colleague about participating in Smart Recovery, you said you started out, well, I thought it was an addiction service program, and it come to find out it was much more than that. But you made it seem as if it wasn't something that you needed.
Oh, it is something I needed. I was just stating that me being out there and everything like I said, everything that I did some good things, but everything that you've seen that is wrong, I did wrong. And
why would you be taking, like, okay, I understand everybody's smoking marijuana. I don't know why, but for some reason, that's a lot of people's drug of choice. But why then would you start using cocaine, or were you testing positive for the cocaine and opiates because you were touching them or packaging them, or tell me what was going on?
I was just doing bad. I was doing wrong. I was doing a lot of things wrong. I was just out there.
Were you using opioids?
Yes.
Well, how are you taking it? How are you taking them?
Orally.
You sniffing them, smoking it, putting it in your...
Orally.
Taking pills, sniffing
Pills?
it?
Yeah, pills?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the cocaine?
That was from touching it.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine.
It is my understanding that you'd have to be touching pounds and pounds, kilos of cocaine in order for it to absorb through your skin.
Right.
So, maybe you want to rethink that.
Yeah.
So as far as I understand, when you touch it through your pores, it goes through the fingers of your pores. I could have been, a lot of things are in a lot of drugs nowadays, so I could have been taking it. I'm not saying I have not been taking it. I don't take it, but it's so many things mixed with drugs that you don't even know about, that I don't even know about. Not saying that you personally don't know about it. I'm saying that it's like you'll never know what the next person is doing with their drugs.
So the moral of the story is, why do any of them?
That's what it
That's
took
the
me.
moral of the story. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't know what you're ingesting, why would you put that in your body? And then once you have those drugs in your system, of course, it lowers your inhibitions, makes your thinking all off. I mean, it doesn't help.
Yes, ma'am.
And it doesn't help. You're very young still, as my colleague said, and you still have so much more maturing to do. But when you're putting things that are into your body that's altering your way of thinking, it's only going to be a recipe for disaster. And then you start mixing in drugs and hanging around people with guns and all of that stuff. So
Yes, ma'am. And it took me here to realize that. It's sad to say that I had to be incarcerated to realize that I was doing all the wrong things, being
you
around.
knew you were doing the wrong things. You knew you were. You were just.
Yeah,
you guys
yes,
think
ma'am.
that you're just not going to be caught. You think that you're invincible out there when you're in the middle of doing that stuff. The fast money, all of that stuff. I understand. Doesn't
Yes, ma'am.
make it right.
Yes, ma'am.
However, now that you have this record and you've had this record, you really need to understand that they're not going to stop watching you.
Never.
Never is right. Because
Yes,
they
ma'am.
know if we vote you to parole today, as soon as they know that you're going to be out in the community, you're going to be watched. You're going to be monitored. So you're not going to be able to sell drugs in the community and think that you're going to be able to get away with it. It's just not going to happen. So I don't understand why you all think that you can go right back out and start doing the same things that you were doing and that you're going to get away with it. It just doesn't make sense. It's called, when you do the same, exactly. When you do the same things over and over, but you expect different results. What's that? Do you know what that is?
No, ma'am.
Insanity.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Doing the same things over and over, but thinking, oh, it's going to be different this time. No. So I really need you to start thinking about the consequences of your actions. I heard you saying your family and all that stuff. I'm glad that you have some insight, but before you make the decision now, you need to stop and think, well, what's going to happen if I do this? What happens if I get in the car with this guy who I know is notorious for carrying guns? Are you man enough to say, I'm not going there? Are you man enough to do that?
Yes, ma'am. I've been working on pulling myself. I can't say working because I've been in here, so it's easy to say, but I don't contact anyone of that nature that I know is doing the wrong thing.
No, but I'm saying when you're back out in the community, Mr. Sanford, and your friends are saying, man, we're going to do this. Let's go real quick. And you know that those people are bad news. You have a decision to make. Do I want my freedom? Do I value my freedom? Or do I value what my friends think of me?
And I can't do them things. I have to keep myself on a narrow path. I can't resort back to the same people, places, and things.
Well, I hope not, is what I'm saying to you. Like
Yes, ma'am.
I wish that I could believe that, that's going to be your mentality going forward. But if that were the case, our prisons would be empty.
Yes, ma'am.
All those people in there are making poor decisions, not because they want to be there. Some of them may want to be there because, it's a free meal, some place to sleep, and, but most of the people in there, I'm sure they say they don't want to be there. And if they hadn't made poor decisions, they wouldn't be there. So I'm saying to you that you're young enough to turn all of this around, and this does not have to be your life, sir. But you have to think about what you're doing before you do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Kind of like if I don't pay my mortgage, where am I going to live? Where are my kids going to live? On the street. You know, so I mean, you have to have that mentality, but I'm all set with my questions. I really do hope that you're done with this lifestyle, Mr. Sanford. Why don't you have your GED? Why aren't you in school? Why aren't you trying to better yourself?
So when you're incarcerated and you catch a disciplinary action, they don't allow you to finish school. So when I was at Cybosky, I don't know if you guys could see the various jails I've been to. When I was at Cybosky, when I was at Cybosky, I had 3 GEDs. When I was going to take the 4th one, I got myself into some trouble and I moved to Osborne. In Osborne, you can't do any schooling or kitchen or anything, jobs or anything with a ticket. So I had to wait 120 days for it to clear. So once I moved here, I tried to sign back up to go to Cybosky. I tried to get on the transfer list. When I tried to move there, they moved me here. So once my ticket cleared, I wrote, and they told me I would be on the waiting list. So I've been on the waiting list ever since.
So when you go back out in the community, that should be a priority.
Yes, I have one.
You have one test to take. That's all the more reason to get it done.
Yes,
and you can't tell your 5-year-old to go to school and not the importance of being in school and getting an education when you don't have one yourself.
Yes, that's very correct.
All right, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Barry. Mr. Sanford, I'm glad that you have a different attitude and sense it. When you get out there, you really need to take care of things.
Yes, sir.
Smart Recovery isn't a program that has to end. Out in the community, both online and in person, depending upon where you want to wind up. Like Bridgeport probably has Smart Recovery meetings.
Yes.
But the people that you want to find to be around are people that are trying to do something with their lives.
Yes.
Seriously, you're 23, right?
Yes, sir.
You want to get out there and do something, right? I hear your family value.
Yes, sir.
I hear that that's important to you.
Yes.
And I don't think if you have some kind of barrier that says I can only get to this.
No.
It doesn't have to. You know, you can really do whatever you want.
Yes, sir.
You know, so it's important to get it done and, you know, and fully grow up. You've done, looks to me like you've done a lot of growing up since you've been sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's, you know, that's important because it's sitting where you are. It's not the place to grow up.
Yes,
But
sir.
Life is what life is, right?
Yes, sir.
So come out of there and do the right thing.
Thank you.
Board member Smith.
So I think it sounds like we're all in agreement that Mr. Sanford has shown some growth. He's shown some insight into his behaviors. He kept saying, you know, you can't get ahead by doing the wrong things. Talked about reverting back to his old ways. You know, he was working. I was happy to see that. I am concerned about a lot of things in this case. I came in very undecided. I didn't think he'd really done very much programming, although there's not much on his OAP. He scores very high. He's gone from a medium at his last hearing to a very high for this one. I am on the fence. I was thinking that we would rehear Mr. Sanford in maybe 6 months, have him do the Tier 2 program, maybe the New Thoughts program, if that's available to him. He could work on his GED, not get any more disciplinary reports, bring him back in 6 months, and he could really show that there is some change, some motivation to do the best he can. The fact that he was on probation for selling drugs and having guns, and then he's got 2 new warrants for selling drugs as soon as he gets off, plus he's using drugs in the community. It's not just smoking marijuana. You know, he's got a few positive drug tests.
Right.
It's just from what we see reviewing the file.
Yeah.
For cocaine and opiates too. So I do appreciate that he did smart recovery. I do think he could benefit from tier 2, working on his GED. And if the New Thoughts program was available to him, I think he would appreciate it, quite honestly. I mean, he's only 23 and does score very high for this recidivate. So that's what I would say, but I'm open to any other thoughts.
Board Member Barry.
Thank you. So, I appreciate the information and what panel member Smith-Palmieri has shared, and I agree that he is still very young and he still has a lot of growing up to do. I too did not like the disciplinary infractions, but it really does, in my opinion, sound like Mr. Sanford is on the cusp of change. I think that this incarceration was a wake-up call for him. I did not like that he was on probation either, nor that he rates out high and very high. However, I'm really thinking that there really is no program to really help you make better decisions. When he says to me that, well, to us, that, well, I didn't realize, I didn't know, but you did know. He knew he was me, and he still participated in that. And it's all up to him what his next choices will be, because the sentences don't get shorter, they just get a little longer. And given the fact that he done well on probation when he was with us, he did get the 2 positives, but that aside, he was supervised for 22 months under parole supervision, and he was working and he was doing well. So I would support discretionary parole for him. I really hope that Mr. Sanford does the things that he says he's going to do, and he continues with the smart recovery. I think that will be an additional resource for him out in the community. We discussed his participating and taking these drugs, and he doesn't know what's in them. And listen, leave that stuff all alone. He has a child. He's almost done with his GED. I'm hoping that he makes better decisions that will have better outcomes for him. So I would support discretionary parole today. And he could still advocate for himself to get into those additional programs and stuff, because it's not for us, it's for him. We're not trying to, say that we don't want him out in the community. I think, Ms. Palmieri, that you do think that parole supervision would be beneficial to him, but he just has more work to do. And his eligibility date is not until March of next year. So he will still have plenty of time to get some addiction services help, like some additional help, and get some things aligned.
Work on his GD. I agree, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
We do hear some change.
Yeah.
He just keeps saying that he's made the wrong decisions. I want to give him the best opportunity for success in the community, because you are only 23 years old,
Right.
With a young child.
Yes.
So I do think a rehear is not unreasonable, but I am not opposed to either him going out. He would have about 18 months of parole supervision before 3 years probation.
So where I am on this is that he knows that he has to deal with the substance use problem. He's going to a community that has a lot of resources when it comes to that. I hope he would go to the CCAR Recovery Community Center and avail himself of a recovery coach, so that would be helpful. But the thing that I want to rest my hat on in this thing is that he continues, when he does something, he's reflective,
Mm-hmm.
and it appears that he learns from what he's doing. I would support. What would we have him do?
I just had no co-defendants, for conditions. And again, he's not eligible until March, so he could really take that time. That's a lot of time. It's not a lot of time, it's 3 months, but he could, right. You know,
He could try and get himself into tier 2.
Yeah.
Could try and finish his GED.
Yeah.
I'd be going down to addiction services and asking about tier 2.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All I had was no co-defendants also.
That's, you hear us,
Yes, sir.
Opiates is a slippery slope.
It is.
and that's, you know, if oxys, you don't know what in the heck is in that on the street. It's all fentanyl.
Yes.
Practically half of the crap on the street now is fentanyl. You don't need your family to be burying you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
We have March 1st. Regarding Terri Sanford. Regarding Terri Sanford, 424949, move to grant parole on or after March 1st, 2025. The following stipulations in addition to standard parole conditions: no contact with co-defendants Brandon Patrick or Brian Petway. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Sanford, you've been voted parole. I hope you heard everything we said here. And
Yes.
I really believe that you're going to consider, based upon your presentation today, everything that we've said today.
Yes, thank you.
We don't want to see you again.
In a good way, I don't want to see you guys again.
I know that's right.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Take care.
This is for your for Terri Sanford 424949. All right, you're all set. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Another one, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, you can send the next one in.
All right, I got Mr. Privet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, wonderful.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Williams. Today is December 31st, 2024. This is the Connecticut Board of Pardon and Parole. Following board members are present this morning, and by sending their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information after the hearing.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Morning, panel member Barry.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name Jamar Privet, 235-994.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for parole application for Privette 235-994. He's serving a sentence of 6 years, served with 4 years of special parole for criminal possession of a weapon, possession with intent. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of August 27th, 2023. There is no victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board on August 14th, 2023. He was denied parole with a new hearing date that was set for December of 2024. The board recommended that the inmate remain DR-free, complete programs, including good intention, bad choices, voices, parenting programs, education, and vocational education. Since the last hearing, the offender has completed the following programs: 24/7 dads, job is working, voices, and tier 2. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scoring, the offender's overall score for recidivism falls in a very high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. Make it again.
You can go ahead and read your statement, or if you have that. I'm not sure what you have in your hand.
Oh, no, these are work reports and, people that wrote some character letters, but I couldn't get it in there in time. I know due to the holidays. I got full character letters.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead and, I sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought you had a statement in your hand. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you all for giving me another opportunity to come in front of y'all. I take full responsibility for all my actions, and I've been working on myself for the last 3 years. Been here 4, but I've been working on myself for the last 3 years. I'm getting old. I know better now, so I learned how to ask for help. And if I ever get in another jam, I will not go back to the things I used to do. I won't make no excuses for things I didn't do, but I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm not even gonna sit here and get chained. I'm just tired. And I don't have a fight in me to run the streets anymore. I don't have no problem getting up, going to work every day. I got a good support system. My fiance backs me. You know, I'm just trying to go home and be a better stepfather to my stepkids. I have a few jobs waiting for me. I really don't have too much to say about that, but I just know I don't have the energy to keep going through this violent circle.
Thank you, Mr. Privette. So you're on a rehear, and you stayed out of trouble. There wasn't any additional DRs, and you took programming that the last board asked you to take. So can you talk a little bit, well, before we get into the programming, I want to go back to the offense, right? So a 1584 is juvenile reconsideration.
Yes.
So that, because it recognizes that early on behavior can be impulsive and committed by a person who has an undeveloped brain.
Yes.
Or underdeveloped brain, or not fully developed brain. Something close to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, however, you had your shot at, at parole, and you went back out and you came back with possession with intent, right?
Yes.
And criminal possession of a weapon, which goes hand in hand with drug deal.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
I lost my job, due to the pandemic, and I was scared to be homeless, so I went back to hustling, and it got out of hand. I ended up I just supposed to have been paying bills, and I got nervous, and before I know it, I was back in this situation. I don't make any excuse. I messed up, and you know, I take full responsibility. I mean, selling drugs is not something I want to do again. I know that, you know, carrying a firearm, I should have been carrying it. Right now, I'm at a stage in my age, I'm almost 50, and I should have learned from my first incarceration. I didn't. I was just happy to go home, really didn't have a plan, and I thought I did, just doing all this time. I came in young, but I get it now. I have a family right now, and I'm trying to be the best man to lead by example, to show my stepkids that there's no future in crime, and this is who I am today. So I know I won't pick up no more drugs or play with another gun. I can promise you that.
So, and I believe when you say you promise that you believe it. I don't have a problem with that. However, you know, at the 1584, you probably made the same promise, right? And stuff goes sideways, and you know, and you did what you did. So, what I want to know is, things go sideways again. What is it that you're going to do that's not picking up selling drugs in the community again, which is inherent with, you know, possessing a gun?
Well, I don't deal with pride no more. I figured that out the last 3 years. I don't let my pride get away. Now, if I get in the gym, I know how to ask for help. And I know I have a whole bunch of resources now to reach out and ask for help. So I know if I get in a bind, if I'm on parole, I can call my parole officer. Listen, I lost my job. Can you help me get a job? And, you know, I know how to ask for help. I don't, you know, I'm not that individual, that child no more. I'm grown. So right now, just hypothetically, let's say if I was working and I lost my job due to something happening, I would ask for help. Before, I wouldn't ask for it. I learned from that now. You ask for help, and that's the best I could do is ask. And I could go from there. But selling drugs and ripping it, I'm tired. I'm beat. I don't have the mental or physically. I'm physically unable. I got a messed up hip, and mentally I'm drained.
I mean, how much time are you going to spend in there? You know?
Oh, I'm done with this.
Having that plan,
yes,
is what you should have done, you know, February 9th, 2021.
Yes.
You know, in the months preceding that. You know, that's what you're supposed to do.
You're right.
And you're right. It's pride.
I don't deal with pride no more.
So, you've had, you took tier 2?
Yes.
Thoughts on what you learned in tier 2?
Well, in tier 2, I learned how, you know, think before you act. You selling drugs or doing drugs, it's not the way to go. I learned that about tier 2, and my counselor Cologne that was in tier 2, she run a tier 2 program, gave me a great understanding of, if you ask for help, it will be there. Don't take the shortcut. If it take you this long to do it, you do it. You're gonna get there one way or another. So I understand drugs is out the question.
And how about using them?
Not for me.
Any
Drugs,
of these tickets for intox?
No. Never did drugs before.
And then Voices was another program that you'd taken.
Yes, Voices is a victims program to give you an understanding on the victim aspect of the crime that you're doing. Whether it was a elderly lady, a younger person, they give you the understanding of being in a situation to understand what's going on when you victimize somebody or do something to someone. So I understand what empathy means now. I'm not a selfish individual. I don't inflict harm on others no more, whether if I'm going selling drugs or using physical harm. They all the same on account of being invoices. So it made me understand that whether you're selling drugs or you're harming, robbing someone, it's the same thing. You're hurting someone. I know I don't have a victim in this case, but actually I do when I was out there selling drugs. So now I understand that I can't be selling drugs anymore and can't be carrying no weapons. I understand that now.
Part of the offense, though, is that you really don't fully understand the victims in this case.
Oh, I understand.
Because the clientele that was supporting you, where are they getting their money from?
Well, they was getting their money from different crime and aspects of what they was doing to come buy the drugs. You know, I understand that. I can't allow myself to be in that environment anymore.
I mean, that's the thing. If it wasn't, you know, and this isn't a way out, if it wasn't you, it was somebody else. The
Yes.
people addicted in the street,
Yes.
if they're buying off somebody in the street, getting the money from somewhere.
They committing, I'm enabling them to commit the crimes by selling them drugs. So they breaking crime to do it. So I understand both sides of it. And
there,
I don't want,
and as such, there goes the neighborhood,
yes,
right?
yes. That's
And
why
it's
I'm
just-
in
Yeah, go
a
ahead.
Robin circle. I'm in a 24-hour diet. I'm a mentor in it right now. And what I'm doing is talking to the younger guys on how to be a better father and a better human being in general. And what we talking about now, I talk about to them to let them know, you know, you just got to work harder. You know, don't quit. You know, I don't care how hard it gets. Ask for help, but never take a shortcut, because the shortcut's going to lead you into like this situation in front of the parole panel. So that's what I preach every day now. I know I messed up, and my own way of giving back, I help the younger generation.
So you want to parole to your fiance in East Hartford,
Yes.
and you're going to go back to Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's. If I don't go back to Trader Joe's, I'm going back to Krause's warehouse. I'm in grocery store in East Hartford.
So one of those two.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to see if other board members have questions. Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Chair. So, Mr. Privet, I have to tell you that I'm so disappointed. You know, I was on your 1584 panel, and I was one of the people who voted in favor of your discretionary parole. And now to see you back here is very disappointing. And while you say that you've matured and all that stuff, you know, that you were making poor decisions, I would argue that you knew that when you were doing it. You knew that it was wrong. And you're going back to live with Tiffany, and Tiffany was who you were living with when you were selling these drugs and had the weapon in the house. Yet you told the officer that there was another Tiffany that you were living with. And I'm not sure why you said that, but you do have to understand that returning to the same environment that you were in, that you felt that you had to resort to participating in criminal activity in order to provide for your family is not a positive environment.
Yes.
I'm just, you have to understand as well that you were convicted of murder. The people in Hartford know you as a murderer. They're going to keep their eye on you, sir. There's nothing that you can really do for a long time and get away with it because they're going to be watching you.
Yes.
You have to understand that the system is set up for you to fail. And the only way you don't fail is if you make better decisions. And resorting to, after spending, how much time were you down for that murder?
A little over 22, 23 years.
And so you must like prison.
No, I don't, miss.
Yeah, well, we'll get right back there. Wearing those same khakis, eating that nasty food with those same, like, what would make you want to go back there? Did you think that you were going to get away with this?
At the time, it was just like a survival kit, miss. I lost my job and I had pandemic. I can't make no excuses. Excuse my language.
Guess what? We all went through that experience in the pandemic. There were, there was a toilet paper shortage, water, all that stuff. Everyone was impacted by that, but not everyone resorted to participating in criminal activity.
You're absolutely right, miss.
There were so many resources out there. If you would have been patient, there were so many things that they were giving people because they understood that that COVID-19 impacted everybody's lives. So I just, Mr. Privet, I'm not going to sit here and lecture you. I mean, you're old enough to know that you have to make better decisions. And you were only out in the community for 2 years before you were arrested again. It's unacceptable.
You're absolutely right. It don't change nothing or I make no excuses of it. I was working for the first 18 months, and then when I was let go, instead of really asking, like, excuse me, can I get some help? I didn't. And I went back to the old habits and something I shouldn't have did.
Your old habits were at 16. Are you, how old are you now? 40?
46, ma'am.
You're not almost 50. Let me just say that first. And secondly, when you were out in the community, you were a little kid.
Yes.
So are you telling me that a 46-year-old man is a 16-year-old boy is trapped inside that 46-year-old body?
Not anymore.
All right.
Not anymore.
I'm all set.
Board Member Smith Palmieri.
I didn't think that. Any questions? Thank you.
So, I'm disappointed with Mr. Privette's choices as well.
This makes no sense.
No, doesn't make any sense. But and you know, not for a pass because there is, you know, it's right in the heart of pandemic, and so that's why I asked the question about what happens the next time something here happens, and he's thought about the answer to that question. And I can see how you go away for as long as he went away for, and I got to rely on myself. And rely on myself. This case was to.
But it wasn't.
And it's.
It wasn't. He had so much support, and he continued. He knew. But you know, now I think he probably knows a little bit better. I'll say that. But he knew.
So, I'm going to suggest that I would support parole in this case, but I wouldn't support parole in this case until on or after April 10th, 2025.
I was tough on Mr. Privet because I want him to understand that life isn't easy. Not for any of us. In anything worth having, you have to work for it. Nothing's just going to land in your lap. There is no easy way out. He's done so much time in prison, and unless he wants to spend the rest of his life in there, then he has to do better. But I would support discretionary parole for him. I don't like a whole lot, and I'm very disappointed. But
Right.
nonetheless, he did what the prior panel asked him to do, and I would support his report.
I am in agreement with all that's been said. I think that it is incredibly disappointing.
Yeah.
It is because the panel takes such a leap of faith.
Yes.
When granting those paroles on 1584s, you know, they're always for a loss of life, whether it's a manslaughter or a murder. They're incredibly serious charges. But we look at the person that comes before us and we say, you know, they were young, they were making bad decisions, you know, here's an opportunity for a second chance at life, right? And we as the panel are scrutinized.
Exactly.
You know,
By the public. Yep.
By the public.
Yep.
So, you know, we're hopeful, and I always hate to use that word, that, you know, individuals like Mr. Privet will go out and prove everybody wrong. Right? They'll do well, and so many do, but Mr. Privet needs to understand, you know, he's part of this very small elite group,
Yeah.
right? And he really needs to set it so other people after him set the example, so other young people, one, can see that they can change their lives and be successful, and put the past, you know, learn from their past and move forward. You know, so when, you know, to see violations of new charges like we have today, it is very disappointing.
It is.
However, Mr. Privet did do what the prior panel has asked. And, you know, the pandemic was just a bad time for everybody. You know, it was. So I am going to use the word hopeful again, that Mr. Privet has had a lot of time to kind of sit back on his heels and really think about what he needs to be doing in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's unacceptable.
It is.
Getting arrested again after you're served so much time for a murder charge. And I also would want him to finish his other sentence first, which is April 10th, 2025.
Yeah.
That's what I have, yes.
What would we have him do?
I honestly just have a halfway house just in case he needs it. We don't have any registered victims for the deceased family member. And I noted that they didn't participate in the prior hearing, so we don't have a name to really stay away from. So the halfway house was all that I and
yeah, I'm always, sometimes I think that mental health evaluation and treatment is a nice safety net
For being down that
for
long?
being down.
Yeah, but they
was, and
they did all that. They did that when he was out there, but we can do it again just in case, you know,
See what happens.
something's going on.
Regarding Jamar, Privette 235-994, I move to grant parole on or after April 10th, 2025, with the following stipulations: halfway house placement if necessary, mental health evaluation and treatment if deemed necessary. Is there a second?
Second,
Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Privette, you've been voted to parole. It's not until after your 1584 sentence is completed, which is on April 10th.
Excuse me, can I say something? No, that my sentence for that is January 10th. That was an outside charge I caught 20 years ago. The extra, what's that? 90 days.
it was a breach of peace that you
Yes.
caught while you were inside the facility.
Yes. ma'am.
And your end of sentence date for all those charges together, the
Okay.
murder and the breach of peace, is 4/10/25.
All right. I understand what you're talking about now.
Okay.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I appreciate it, and I will do better on this. I know y'all
Thank
granted parole. This time I'll get it right. I don't know how y'all know, but I make sure that y'all three, I let y'all know how I'm doing. I'll find a way to get in contact when I'm doing it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, you have a good day.
I wish you the best because I'm going to do my best.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
I promise you.
There's a ton of
promise you.
services for you.
I promise you, I'm going to do good this time. I give you my word.
Thank you.
You got it.
In the
We
last
want
3
you
years,
to. We want you
it took
to.
me 40-something years, but in the last 3 years, I changed, and it's in my heart.
Good.
Good.
I'm going to do good, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to get this
Got
program.
it.
I will not let you down. I won't let myself down. Thank
Good.
you very much.
Have the
I
CO
appreciate
send
it.
in the next person, will you?
Good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Jamar.
Except the next person next. I have Mr. Sutherland.
Perfect, thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning, my name is Paroles Williams. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Panel Member Barry, good morning.
Please
Good morning.
state your name and inmate number for the record.
Jacob Sutherland, number 314704.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Jacob Sutherland, 314704. He is serving a sentence of 2 years with 3 years, 6 months of special parole for criminal possession of a pistol and failure to appear first. As of the state records reflect the proeligibility date of February 8, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There's an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed so the offender completed the following program. Voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender's overall score consideration falls in a very high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
You said I can start now?
Yes.
I believe I should be granted because I successfully completed my special parole when I had it. I was doing productive stuff. I'm an active father. I have 2 toddlers out there I need to get to. And I have a construction business that I have to take over. My uncle, he has 2 of his feet amputated. So I have a lot of stuff I need to learn for him. And the season is opening up soon, and I just would like to start and continue being a productive member of society. The only reason that I had got jammed up, it was during the pandemic, and I'm not making an excuse, but it was just a lot going on during the pandemic. And before that happened, I was doing very well for myself, staying out of trouble, working on my partying, and I was just regular living life.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sutherland. You've been through this before, obviously. So you know that we've read about your information. We've read your information about what happened on your way in, what you've done since you've been in. Based upon that, we have some questions. When we get done with that, we'll talk about your case and give you an answer, okay?
Yes.
And we're going to start the questions today with Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, Mr. Sutherland, your offenses occurred in 2022. The pandemic was in 2020. So what are you talking about?
I was still under that. That's all. Like, I was still like.
2 years later, you were still under the pandemic? Are you serious?
It was still going on out there.
Tell me why. You said that you were doing well when you were on parole supervision, and I showed that you weren't doing well on parole supervision. You had 3 misconducts and you got a new arrest while you were on parole in 2017.
Yes, I said I completed it though. That's what I said, miss. I did catch a case.
Right, but you were out. It was a 10-month. You were out for 10 months under parole supervision, and you received a new conviction and got an 18-month sentence while you were on parole.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's not doing well, Mr. Sutherland. And then my records indicate that you had a criminal possession of a pistol or revolver that occurred on January 14th of 2022. And then in February of 2022, you had a illegal possession of a weapon in a motor vehicle. What weapon was that?
What kind of weapon I had?
What was it that they found you with?
I charged with a gun. Another gun.
So that's another gun. And then you had a criminal possession of a weapon in 2011. So that's 3 weapons, sir, at 38 years old. And you know that that's concerning to this panel because there's so much gun violence going on in our neighborhoods. And for them having the mentality that you've been robbed before and you needed the gun for protection is why innocent people lose their lives. I'm sick of looking at the news and seeing innocent people dead, 17 years old. It's just ridiculous. When does it end? You know, and then you come into the facility and you get disciplinary infractions for marijuana. Why were you smoking marijuana in prison?
I was stressed up.
What happened? Well, you know that it's against the rules, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you stressed out about in prison?
Like I said before, I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, and it's like all this stuff that happened before. I never had children, so it's like everything is affecting me different, and I just.
Sir, you had children. It's 2024, almost 2025. You had a 6-year-old daughter, a child. Yeah. So you did have kids. You had to make better decisions, Mr. Sutherland. Now they have it so that they consider you such a risk out in the community that they gave you special parole because they want the authorities to be able to arrest you on spot without going before a judge, without passing go and collecting $200. They want you to come right back to prison immediately.
Yes, I believe I could conduct myself productively. I have no choice. I really don't.
And then on top of that, you not only are you out there with the weapons, but you're smoking dust and popping mollies.
Yes.
Yeah, it seemed too much, Mr. Sutherland.
I'm done with that.
Yeah, it's too much. I wish that I could support your discretionary parole, but you've had opportunities, sir, and 3 weapons is 3 too many, in my opinion. So
one of those 2 guns and 1 knife. I don't know.
That's what I asked you. Okay, so 2 guns and 1 knife. Why were you carrying a knife?
It was just in the car. It was just in the car. Okay.
All right, I'm all set, Sir Chair.
Board Member Smith-Palmieri.
So, Mr. Sutherland, you also have a failure to appear. Why didn't you go to court?
I had a misunderstanding with my lawyer. I had court that Thursday, and I thought it was Friday. So when I called him Friday, I'm like, "What time do you want me to be inside court?" He was like, "You already messed up. Give me the rest of the money that you owe me, and I could fix it for you." But I didn't have the money at the time, and that's the only reason. But I was out there fighting the case for 2 years before that happened.
And you've taken the Voices program. Why haven't you taken an addiction services program?
I wrote for it and I I wrote them in March. I have a request that I wrote in March. I wrote them in June. It was June 27th. And they told me I'm on a waiting list. Everybody keep telling me I was on a waiting list. I was trying. And that was it. I started tier 2 in January. They told me I could start.
Good. Okay. You know, I'm concerned also about the firearms, especially when you say you found the gun.
Yes, ma'am.
Randomly came across it and put it in your pocket.
Yes, ma'am. That's the.
And then I go back to your most serious charge, which is the assault 1. And at the time that the assault 1 occurred, you were smoking wet at the time. Mm-hmm. And now you're still using hallucinogenic drugs at age 38 or 35 when you were arrested. Does that concern you at all?
At that time, I was real young at that time. And now I have no excuse for it, but there's really a lot of stress going on out there. And like I said before, I really want to be a father to my kids. And it's like having this time to sit down, I really realize what's most important to me. You know, I'm not trying to make no excuses, but I did do okay out there. Yes, I did catch a couple bumps and bruises, but I did okay. I feel like I did okay for myself.
Well, you have no work history, though. I mean, you told the parole officer you worked for your family business, but there's no documentation of any kinds of legal wages.
Yeah, I don't know. My uncle, I don't know when my uncle doesn't put me on the books, but that's why I'm going to take it over and do my own and start my own, like be a general contractor myself. And I know our family business is construction. We do, we specialize in concrete. We I know how to pull and finish concrete. I can do basements. I can do sidewalks. I can do, you know what I mean?
You have skills.
Yes.
That's great. I mean, if you can do all that, you can definitely make a livable income. And
that's what I'm working towards. I was reading this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'm just trying. I just want to do what I can for my family. Like, I don't want nobody else raising my kids. I know my history may look a little crazy, but I really can do good for myself. I can finish this. I can finish special. I know I can.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sutherland, thank you. I have no other questions, Mr. Chair.
Board Member Barry.
So, Chair, I cannot support Mr. Sutherland's discretionary parole today. I'm concerned about the poor decision making, both out in the community, and it's now spilling over into his decision making in the facility. He rates out very high, and I wish that I could support him. But he's really going to have to prove himself by completing his 42 months of special parole. So my vote is to deny his discretionary parole today.
Board Member Smith-Mulberry.
I did not have Mr. Sutherland voted to parole today for reasons. One is that he does score high for risk to recidivate. He's got a drug score of 4. He hasn't done any drug programming, and his whole criminal history seems to be associated with drug use. Okay. So I think that alone makes him a high risk to recidivate. And, he, at 38, he should be conducting himself, and following the rules at the facility. And he doesn't seem to be able to do that as well. So I did not have him granted parole today.
So I have criminal history, current offense committed while on probation, poor institutional adjustment, and inadequate institutional program participation.
Sir, Chair, I didn't see that he was on probation. I know the DIS noted that, but I did not see anything to support that statement.
I had finishing special.
So he's not, okay, so that's, okay, so criminal history, foreign institutional adjustment, and for institutional program participation. Yep. Mm-hmm. Regarding Jacob Sutherland, 314704, I move to deny parole for the following reasons: criminal history, and poor institutional adjustment, inadequate institutional program participation. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Sutherland, we're unable to give you parole today. We really want you to do well. So we hope that you take some programming between now and when you leave, especially addiction services program. You know, you said you signed up for it for January. Please do that, because we don't want to see you back again. Okay?
That's it.
That's it. So
This is moving up as chief and Sutherland 3170.
All right, I got Mr. Hatch.
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Morning, my name is Officer Williams. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Appointments and Parole. The following board members are present this morning by stating names on the record, certified they reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Panel Member Barry, good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Mark Hatch. My inmate number is 360750. No, 368750.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application from Mark Hatch, 368750. He is serving a sentence of 3 years flat for possession with intent, attempt to commit burglary third, violation of probation, and larceny second. As of today, records reflect a parolability date of May 28th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There's an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and showed the offender has been programs. Tier 4. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender's overall score for recidivism falls at a high range. This is your opportunity to express the board why you believe you should be granted parole. Again.
Tell us why you think you deserve parole, sir.
Today, I can confidently tell you that since my incarceration, I have been working on bettering myself. I enrolled in a Tier 4 program that turned out to be an excellent program. I have been identifying and assessing all my flaws, mainly with my drug addiction. I truly believe that that has been the root of all my problems in my life. And in this program, we have different phases to the program and different levels of teaching us about our addictive behaviors and criminal behaviors. And I've just learned so much about addiction. I just currently got put on 30 milligrams of methadone, so a lower dose of methadone, and it has helped me greatly. It's the first time I've ever done like a MAT program or any kind of medication to help me, and what it has done for me is taken away all the cravings, and I just feel like for first time in my life I can confidently say that I have no urge to use drugs, and that's a great feeling. As you guys can tell, I'm not young no more. I'm 38 years old, and being away from my children and for this incarceration has been such an eye-opener, and since the day I got in here, I knew that I had to work very hard on figuring out why I'm here, my problems, and fixing myself. And I believe that I've done a good job at that since I got here. I have truly been trying to live with integrity today, you know, doing the next right thing, and really that's how I feel.
Thank you, Mr. Hatch. What happens here is that we've read about your background, what's got you to this incarceration, what you've done since you've been in, your interview with the parole officer, and based upon that, we have some questions. And then we're going to talk about your case and give you an answer, okay?
Okay.
We're going to start questions today with Board Member Smith-Palmieri.
Thank you, Mr. Polk. So, Mr. Hatch, I heard all that you had to say. It does sound like you acknowledge that you do have a substance abuse problem, and
Absolutely.
that it is an underlying issue with a lot of your criminal conduct. So I am interested, when you were interviewed by the parole officer with respect to the possession with intent charge, intent to sell, you said you were selling, not using.
I was selling, not using.
Yes, you were using, not selling.
So to make everything straight, so I have sold. I sold to use is what I meant by that. Like my soul, so any drugs that I obtained was for use, but to continue to use, I would sell from occasionally to accumulate the money to keep going in my use.
Okay. So you have a violation of probation, you're on probation for a larceny second, the possession with intent, criminal attempted burglary third, which you say you didn't do.
So everything I've ever been accused of in my life, I truly I did. But this one, it was, I believe, attempted burglary in Mystic. Can I say the guy's name that said I did it? So fellow I used to.
Just say the person that.
Okay, so the person that was accusing me of doing this, I haven't hung out with for years. We had some bad blood, some issues in the past that we didn't get along with, and he allegedly said that I was with him on this day when this stuff happened, and God's honest truth is I had nothing to do with it. I was not there. And like I said, I don't want you guys to think that I'm not taking responsibility, because I totally am taking responsibility for all the actions. It's just, I'm telling you guys the God's honest truth, and I know that the truth is very important. And the truth is for this incident, I was not there. I can honestly tell you that.
So let's move on. So were you out on bond while all these charges were pending?
Yes.
And what were you doing while you were in the community?
What was I doing?
Yes. What were you doing?
I was working. So all these charges accumulated during COVID. So I did get let out without bonds on one or two of them, but I was on a bond. I was working full time. I ended up going to a rehab for 3 months. And I have not used any opiates. I have not used heroin since then. But as you can see, I failed urines for my probation officer for cocaine use.
Okay.
So
you understand that drug use is drug use, right? I hear that.
Absolutely.
Your drug of choice sounds like they're opiates, but all drugs are illegal to use.
Absolutely.
So what makes the Tier 4 program different than the programs that you did while you were out in the community?
The Tier 4, for me, it's like a really intense program. they put a bunch of rules into effect, and they might seem small and minute rules, but it's all about accountability and learning to live your life correctly. And all the small rules in life can build, you know what I mean? You have to live correctly, you have to abide by all the small rules as to the big rules. And that really has just made me learn, like, a big thing is about living with integrity, doing the right thing when no one else is looking. And then with the counselors are great, and they actually like taught me so much about addiction, and it all stems from like behaviors, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous right now, but.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. You learned about addiction, you learned about behaviors. So what behaviors for yourself have you been able to see cause you to use drugs or cause you to use drugs? All right, main thing that's really helping me right now is the methadone. So when I was in the community and I wasn't on any medication to help me, I had bad cravings. I had you know, I was always looking for the next high, looking to use, and methadone has taken that away from me. So I think that is a huge part of how I'm going to be able to stay sober. As far as accountability, identifying my problems, identifying that, you know, manipulating people and having people, you know, to get money from people. I used to have them feel sorry for me, or I'm going to get sick. And as being an adult, I mean, that they just taught me that's no way to live. You know, I have 2 children at home that really need me in their lives, and you know, and I'm the father. I'm supposed to be. Can I stop you for a quick second, Mr. Hatch? Because you didn't really answer my question. Let me ask it in a different way. So, okay. I first of all, we read that you do have 2 children in the community, and I agree with you that the MAP program, the purpose of it is one, it does relieve the cravings that you have from the opiates. Yes. And my understanding is then that allows you to focus on therapy. Right? Without the cravings, and you're focusing more on therapy and why you use. So tell me, when you think about yourself, what are your triggers? Why do you use drugs? Why do you think? My triggers are because, all right, so the triggers I have is I have a drug problem, and I have never tried to like correct it. I've never been going to meetings or anything to better my life. So I was hanging around the wrong people. I was putting myself in the wrong areas, obviously around drugs. I wasn't taking responsibility for myself. So I always told myself that my drug problem wasn't as bad as it was, that, you know, I wasn't as deep into my addiction as I thought at the time, that I wasn't, you know, because I get up and I go to work every day and I pay my bills, then everything is going to be okay. And it was just totally not. Okay. So when you're back out in the community, what is your plan to stay sober? To stay sober. So I've been going to the H&I meetings here, and anyone with substantial time of being sober that I've seen and how I feel is it's very important to be involved in AA. So going to meetings weekly, getting a sponsor, working the 12 steps, and I have a really big support group. My mother, my father, my girlfriend, and my kids, they're all sober. They're all very good people. And they help me, and they're willing to help me with anything. So I feel like, you know, having a sober, so the household that I live in is completely sober. And I just
I just have a lot of help out there. I'll be working full time, and meetings, like I said, meetings are so important. I've been going to at least 6 a year a week, and I really like them, and I can relate with the people. And when these men come in and they tell me how bad their lives was, and they have 20 years of sobriety, 15, 30 years of sobriety, it gives me it just shows me that it can be done, and that this is so possible if I put the work in, that I could live a very nice life. And that's all I want to do right now in my age.
I did note that you want to live with your girlfriend. Is that the same person that was in the truck with you?
No,
No?
no, not at all.
Okay. And that you're gonna is it the same job that you'll get back working asphalt, or is that a new company?
No, so I've worked with them for about 8 years on and off, though, because of my addiction. I always, basically, if I wasn't performing correctly, I wouldn't work there for a while. But with me getting out sober, and the boss is great, and he's totally given me another chance, and so it will be the same job.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hatch. I have no other questions.
Thank you, Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Third Chair. So, Mr. Hatch, when you spoke with my colleague about your substance abuse problem, you indicated that the Tier 4 program has been the best treatment that you've participated in. So my records indicate that you had just completed inpatient and outpatient programming in 2022. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
What caused your relapse?
Lack of like programming. So when I got out of there, I felt like I had it under control. I stopped going to meetings. I didn't get a sponsor. The 12 steps is very important for me. I only worked the first 2 steps. I got complacent, and what Tier 4 has taught me, that recovery is a lifelong, it's lifelong. I got to do this for the rest of my life, and becoming complacent and thinking that I had it under control, it just led me to using it again slowly.
So were you in the parking in that truck unconscious in Walmart, at the Walmart?
Was I unconscious?
Yes.
No.
So when the police found your pickup truck, it said that someone was in the car unconscious.
So the incident at Walmart, so the police seen me in the parking lot, and I drove out and got onto a highway right next to it, and then got pulled over. And it was me and another girl, and we were both definitely incoherent. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
so you weren't under the influence. Okay. All right. I'm all set, Sir Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Hatch, going to meetings and stuff like that inside, and taking Tier 4 is certainly the first steps to living a life of recovery.
Absolutely.
And making the connection with the fact that using and committing offenses go hand in hand for you.
Yes.
That's incredibly important to understand.
Absolutely.
And, getting out there, Oakdale is not in the most urban area of Connecticut. So meetings, you have to be able to connect out there.
Absolutely.
That's really important. And know that there's also an online community. There's meetings all the time, 24 hours a day. All you got to do is, look at the meeting guide and it's there.
Absolutely. I actually had my my girlfriend printed me out a printout of meetings in my area, in our area, Montville, and the surrounding New London and Norwich,
Yep.
and
Yep.
sent it in to me just so I could get a look and start figuring out where they are and get myself a plan for when I do get out. Because I plan on doing, it's called 90 for 90, 90 meetings in 90 days when you first get out. They say it's very important, and I believe it is important, and that's the plan for me.
The other thing is that New London doesn't just have to be the place where we go and get what we need. New London is, there's a C-Car Recovery Community Center there. And recovery coaching, I know that you've been exposed to that because of Tier 4.
Yeah.
Getting a coach is like pretty important.
Absolutely.
The last time you were out here, you were doing stuff that got you in there.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
So going back and looking at that tablet you have and clicking on that C-Car button and connecting with a coach so that you have successful transition into the community be really important.
Absolutely. I would definitely do that. Thank you.
Board Member Smith Palmer.
So Mr. Hatch, he's 38 years old. He does score high for risk recidivate. However, he has done the Tier 4 program, which does address some of his risk needs, and seems to be the major or the most significant of all his needs right now for treatment. He's involved in the MAP program, which I think is important for his long-term recovery right now. He does not have a violent criminal history. He's got support in the community, and I do hear a relapse prevention plan with goals for meetings and sobriety. To support his sobriety, so I would be in favor of granting his discretionary parole.
Thank you, Board Member Barry.
I would as well, Sir Chair. I think that
Go ahead.
he has, it appears that he has shown an ability to comply with the rules in the facility, and he has taken the appropriate programming, no dirty errands, so I would too support this question.
We have no alcohol, mental health evaluation treatment is necessary.
He's a one, Mr. Pope. Health needs.
I also have no.
There was something else going on. Get done. I can't remember. Oh, you know why I put it down? Because he said, when he was asked about his release plan, he talked about therapy. So we'll just leave that to him to take care of.
Yeah. I have no driving too. He was convicted of driving without a suspended license. Yeah.
And
With a suspended license.
so is that what you have?
That's all.
Okay, regarding Mark Hatch, 368750, I move to grant parole on or after May 28th, 2025. The following stipulations in additional to standard parole conditions: no alcohol consumption, no operation of motor vehicle without parole officer's permission. Is there a second?
Okay.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Hatch, you've been voted to parole, and your parole officer will explain your stipulations to you prior to your release. Okay.
Okay.
Get out there and do the right thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So when will release date be?
They'll get in touch with you then.
Okay.
What's the eligibility date today?
It's May 28th, 2025 is your eligibility date. DOC might do something a little different or whatever, but what I said, your parole officer will be in touch with you to explain the whole thing to you. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. God
You
bless.
too. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Here for work, guys.
Yep. Regarding Jacob Sutherland, 314704, I did not include the special parole conditions. The board has no additional conditions other than standard parole conditions for Mr. Sutherland. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Sutherland will have standard parole conditions.
Hi.
Thank
You
you.
can just send them in. You don't have to tell us. Just
Yeah.
put them in the seat.
What do you got?
Mr. Jackson,
Thank you.
welcome.
Good morning, how you doing? Happy New Year's.
You too. Thank you, sir.
Happy New Year. Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Oh, now you're good.
Morning, my name is Rob Savoy. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Parties and Parole. Following board members are present this morning. By stating their names on the record, certified they reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Panel member Barry.
Please state your name and MA number for the record.
Anthony Jackson, MA number 336689.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Anthony Jackson, 336689. He is serving a sentence of 4 years flat for violation of probation, violation of protective order, violation of probation, violation of protective order, assault, legal possession of a weapon in a motor vehicle, criminal possession of a firearm, and failure to appear first. As of today, records reflect the approachability date of September 1st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There's an offender accountability plan for the offender and offender so the offender has to complete the following programs. No programs has been completed today. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation scores, it is overall score for considering the falls in the very high end. They should drop opportunity to express to the board why you should be granted parole. Thank you, Dan.
Mr. Jackson, why do you believe that you should be given parole today?
I have wrote something down here.
Please read it.
Thank you for your time and consideration today. I would like to express my sincere desire for parole and to share the significant changes I have made in my life during my time incarcerated. I deeply regret the actions that led me here. I have worked tirelessly to better myself and prepare for a brighter future. One of my greatest motivations for change has been my children. I have not had the opportunity to spend the holidays with them, and it pains me to think of all the moments I have missed. I want nothing more than to be there for them, to support them, to be a positive role model for them in their lives. The holidays are a special time for family. And the holidays are a special time for family, and I am committed to making up for the lost time and creating lasting memories with my children. Once I am released, I plan to attend counseling and support groups to address the underlying issues that led me here to my incarceration. I am committed to continuing this work upon my release and to live a law-abiding, productive life. I understand the gravity of my past actions that led me here, and I am truly remorseful for the pain I've caused. I'm asking for a chance to prove that I've changed and to demonstrate my commitment in being a responsible and caring parent as well as a contributing member of society.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. So we've read about your background, what's brought you to this incarceration, what you've done since you've been inside. based on that, we have some questions for you. We're going to talk about your case and give you a decision. Okay?
Okay.
So are there any programs that you've completed since you've been in?
I have wrote for Voices, Tier
Right.
2. They have me on the waiting list. I can't.
Right. So there aren't any.
No,
Okay.
not at the time.
So just where I am here is that, you know, based upon, you know, the violation of probations and stuff like that, you know, for me, in order to consider, you know, suitability, I need to see that you took some programs and what you got from them, right?
Yes.
So your parole eligibility date's not until September. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
And, you know, DOC's done a good job lining up or putting in your OAP, the programs that you would need so that we could really have a discussion about offender change and things like that. Right.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't really have any questions. I know that your substance use score is a 4, which that's problematic for you. So a tier program, in doing that and, you know, taking the opportunity, to gain some skills, you know, between now and, you know, when you come back and see us, that would be great. I'm not sure where my other board members are. But I mean, I believe that we're close to the same place on this. So would there?
So I just wanted to add something, Sir Chair. So, Mr. Jackson, I'm on the same page as him. You know, unfortunately, because you were just sentenced in June, and then you couple that with the disciplinary infractions, you haven't really had an opportunity to get into the programs. So it's important for us that you do them and stay out of trouble. And hopefully when you come back before us, we'll have, you know, it'll be a better outcome. But
Okay.
that's where I am.
Board member Smith on there?
I'm in the same place as my colleagues. I want to point out a couple of concerns I have, Mr. Jackson, with your file just off the top. You know, you did not do well on probation, no reporting, you didn't take the drug test, you didn't go to treatment. So it's really imperative for you to participate, to complete and to participate in the programs that are on your OAP, right? Along with any other programs, and to follow the rules at the facility. And also, for me, I need for you to come back with some sort of plan about how you will be productive in the community. Because when you were interviewed by the parole officer, you said, my day is pretty much relaxed.
Right. Well,
You know, you have nothing productive going on in your life, which is how you end up where you are today. Right? You don't have a schedule, you're not working. You know, for somebody that's your age, you should have a full schedule of productive things that includes work.
Okay.
Okay. So I am concerned about the no programming, and I'm concerned about some of your responses to the parole officer about your lifestyle. So I'd like you to have a good release plan when you come, but how that is going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we had, there's a tier program, there's addiction service referral on his OAP.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff.
Other positive programming, voices,
Yeah, I think we'll see domestic violence.
I know, I think you needed domestic violence too.
TV.
Yeah. Are you in the MAP program, Mr. Jackson?
No.
I don't know why.
No, it was there. It was like, that's a referral for him. I don't know exactly why, because I just saw alcohol and marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I don't know.
But
no treatment before is another red flag. So
no disciplinary reports.
Yep.
And we want to see him
and domestic violence. We can put that. I know it's not on his OAP, but he did have the violation of protective order.
Yeah. Yep.
And the tier and any other positives. Yes.
Yeah. When are you thinking to hear him again?
I said, I have 1 year.
I have a year also.
He's not eligible until,
And that would give him a year and a half on,
Right.
on parole on
Yeah.
this flat sentence.
he has to
Right.
prove himself.
Right.
Got a lot of
Okay.
work to do between now and then.
Yep. So, and I had, poor institutional adjustment, inadequate evidence, offender change, and inadequate institutional program participation. Okay, so regarding Anthony Jackson, 336689, I move to deny parole today, based upon, inadequate evidence of offender change, poor institutional adjustment, and inadequate institutional program participation. Further, that we rehear this case in December of 2025. Mr. Jackson should remain disciplinary report free and complete his OAP, including a tier program, voices, other positive programming, and this board, based upon his criminal history, would like him to take a domestic violence program and come back and see us with a inadequate release plan.
There's a second.
There's a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Any those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Jackson, so we denied your parole today, so that you can take programming, okay? And you, on your OAP, there's a tier program and there's voices. Any other positive programming that you can get into that will help you be successful in the community? And we also want you to take a domestic violence program because that seems to be somewhat of an issue in the community. And then come back and see us so that we can consider putting you out for the last year and a half on discretionary parole, okay?
All right,
All right, you have a good day.
you too.
This includes a hearing for Anthony Jackson,
Mr. Jackson.
6689.
Mr. Valdez. I'm telling you the truth.
Morning, my name is Officer Williams. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. And this is the hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning that by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Panel Member Barry, good morning.
Morning,
Please state your name and IMEI number for the record.
Anthony Valdez, 337920.
Thank you, Edith. This is the hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Anthony Valdez, 337920. He is serving a sentence of 4 years jail with 3 years of special parole for criminal possession of a weapon and possession with intent. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of March 4th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board January 8th, 2024, and he was denied parole with a new hearing set for December of 2024. The board recommended that the inmate participate in anger management, embrace fatherhood, and any vocational program. Since the last hearing, the offender completed the following programs: anger management. Utilizing a statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender's overall score for recidivism falls in that high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part.
Tell us why you think you deserve parole, sir.
I feel like I deserve parole because, it's since the last time I was denied, should have been in January, I realized that was a hard hit for me. I really thought I was going to get it, but I've learned a lot within that time all the way up to this point. Made me realize more how serious the situation is and how to value life even more outside of these walls. So, these programs, I've completed also a 24/7 DAD program, completed Embracing Fatherhood, anger management, and I've done voices, which all played a big part in this whole incarceration. And I look at everything completely different. I just want to stay out the system, get back to my life, get all my kids back together, and
just stay out of the way, get out the system, you know, within a period of time as well of doing, you know, complying with special parole. I guess I have to wait about 5 years to go for a pardon. I want to go for that as well, but I had to demonstrate the system, you know, my movements of doing good and actually wanting it. So I came a long way and I've learned my lesson. And I'm 38 years old. I just turned 38 on the 24th. And honestly, I'm getting, this is not for me. It's not the life I want to live. And I want to get back to reality and just live life and be there for my family.
Thank you, Mr. Valdez. You know what we do here. So what we want to talk to you about is what you've done since your last hearing, certainly, and any other questions that we might have about your past. And then we're going to talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
Okay.
And we're going to start questioning today with board member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, Mr. Valdez, I see now why the prior panel wanted you to come back before them. Because in reviewing your history, I was just like, there's no way I would have even entertained a rehear date. But I am happy to see that you have not incurred any I can't even talk. You have not incurred any additional disciplinary infractions. You participated in additional programs, and you have done well, sir. I wasn't on your original panel. So can you explain to us why you were in possession of a weapon in 2022?
To be honest, that situation right there, when I was picked up, I wasn't picked up driving that vehicle they was talking about. I was picked up walking, didn't have no car keys or anything on me. I was brought to that vehicle by the officer because of a phone call that was made saying
I know,
was driving.
I'm talking about your instant offense.
Right
your
now?
Criminal possession of a weapon. Yes, you're right now charged. Not your weapon in a motor vehicle. We're talking about the criminal possession of a weapon. You said you were walking?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So I was talking about the one before that, the car. Yeah, that one, that was just, honestly, I had the wrong people around me. You know, had my cousin bring this to the house. I know I wasn't supposed to be around any of that type of stuff. There's no excuse for it. And at the end of the day, they ended up coming to my house, and it wasn't for a situation I was doing. It was because of a stolen motorcycle that was there, and the cops ended up entering my house and found this weapon. And
well, they wouldn't have found a weapon if you didn't have one, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So, and regardless of what happened with the weapon in a motor vehicle case, did you know the people that was operating the motor vehicle? Did you have any connection to those people whatsoever?
Nah, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't have no car keys on me, anything like that. They couldn't pinpoint the car to me.
But they pinpointed the weapon?
Not even that. So I ended up fighting the case about a year and a half, almost 2 years. The lawyer told me the best thing to do is just take the 2 years probation out, get this out the way. They was charging me more for going to trial, and then I didn't have that. I was already struggling as it is during that period of time. So
all right.
I just ran with what the lawyer told me to do. And
so what about the weapon that you had in 2006? What was that?
Yeah, at that time, that was for my own protection. I was homeless at that time. Okay. I wasn't asking the situation surrounding it, but I just wanted to know what weapon you had. So here's the thing, Mr. Valdez, and I hope that you can hear me when I say this. When you have that history of being in possession of firearms and you don't have the proper licensure, and then they're always going to expect you to have a weapon on you. And it's easier for people like us who weren't there and don't have a video of what occurred. It's easier for us to believe
that this weapon in a motor vehicle was you because of your history. Do you understand what I'm saying? The only way to disassociate yourself from being in possession of weapons and carrying them illegally is to distance yourself from any criminal activity. There's no reason that you can't pick up the phone and call 911 if you feel that your life is in jeopardy. And if living where you were in Hartford is dangerous for you, might I suggest that you find someplace else to live where you don't feel.
Honestly, I was in the middle of trying to do that. You know, I lost my brother in the streets of Hartford in 2013. I was stabbed up years ago around 2009, 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's right. And if you turn on the news today, and I'm sure you'll see that somebody else's kid was shot and killed.
No,
a week ago, a 17-year-old kid was shot and killed. Like it's
even worse.
Too much, right? It's just too much, and we have to take these gun charges serious. And so, as I stated to you in my opening comments, that's why I was surprised that they would have you come back, given your history. But now I hear you speaking, and I can see that I can hear why they decided to give you another opportunity. I'm not sure, Mr. Valdez, that I'm there yet. I think that because Ms. Smith-Palmieri was on your prior panel that did decide to bring you back, I would like to listen to the questions that she has for you to really kind of figure out where which way I'm going to vote today. Okay, thank you, Sister.
Board Member Smith-Palmieri.
Thank you. So as Ms. Berry said, I was on your last panel and I reviewed my information from the last hearing. And we did bring you back because you did sound last time like you were ready to make some changes with your life. Mr. Valdez, you talked a lot about your children in the last hearing and wanting to be there for them. What's the situation with your children now?
Right now, things are a lot rough out there for them. Obviously, without me being there, their mom is pulling one of my daughters out of school. They're not even going to school within 4 or 5 months that school started. They missed 2.5 months of school already. So now I gotta get involved. I have to go to court, and do this process the proper way that should be done, and be able to get my kids back so that I could get them back into the education that they was in before when I had them in my hands.
Okay. Did you have custody of them prior to being incarcerated?
But we were just
sharing custody then?
Yeah, we never
involved.
Yeah, we never had a court situation to where we fight for custody at all. It was just the same, like.
Okay.
So, and DCF done reached out to me, and detectives reached out to me when I was in Sabolsky due to a matter that happened with my daughters, with their mom and their family members and stuff like that. So, as soon as I get a chance of getting out of here, I'm going straight to the court, and this is like a priority to me to be able to get my kids back. And I wouldn't even have time to even think about anything else. That's all I want to do. And
is DCF still involved?
At the moment, to my knowledge, no, they're not.
Okay.
But they might end up getting involved just because of me going to court and bringing all this, situation up.
One of the things that is new for this hearing is your release plan. So your release plan last time, you wanted to go live with your mother, and you were still kind of working out employment. So this time you want to go to a halfway house?
Yeah, I'm gonna go directly to the halfway because she's taking care of my grandfather, and there's too much going on over there, so there's no room for me. So I'm gonna just go to the halfway house and go to my old employment, actually, that I've been in contact with before. And
when's the last time you talked to your old employer?
It's about 5 months ago, something like that, give or take.
This last time you said that they would take you back also. So They've been
Yeah, it's
waiting
the
a
same.
while.
Yeah, it's the same place. I've been with them for about 6, 7 years. So that's a good solid support from them as well.
Okay, that is good support. You're right. Having a job and structure is very important to be successful in the community, to be
Yeah.
productive, right?
Which is what I've been doing here as well. I've been working ever since and still employed here. I do maintenance and cut the grass. I do all types of stuff here as a detail worker.
Right. You mentioned that you took the fatherhood program. Did you take a fatherhood program this time?
Yeah, I took actually 2 different ones.
24/7 dad and embracing fatherhood, he said.
Okay, I thought I saw notes that said they were not at this facility.
Yeah, it wasn't at that period, but they just brought it up and I just completed it. Just got the certificate on the 24th. This month.
Move it over a little bit. Put it in front of your face. Okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it says.
See it?
It's this one and the 24/7 dad.
Perfect. Hang on to those.
I have all the other programs I've completed, work reports and stuff like that, reference letters.
It sounds good, Mr. Valdez. And you did what we asked you to do, the additional programming, not have any problems, been able to maintain a job. I think, we don't have a letter from your prior employer, but if they're willing to take you back, I think that, that speaks of support in the community for you. And I would think you appreciate that. What do you think you need in terms of help in the community? What would help you? How could parole help you?
What will help me is just this one opportunity that I asked for, be able to get out there and, demonstrate to the system as well, because I'm gonna be on special parole, that I am trustworthy to be out there. I'm not a threat to the community at all, because I'm not even a violent person, period. So the fact that I can get back out there and actually, get back, even if I have to do volunteer work at hospitals and stuff like that, I will get into that as well.
But, it's important to do volunteer work, but what we really want for you is to just be productive and not get arrested.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm staying away from everybody. I've like I said, I learned my lesson. This has been this really hit me where it hurts. And I don't even want to know anything about any weapons or have these people around me. That's the main reason why these things happen, is having the wrong people around me. And that's it, I just want my family. That's all I need, work and be productive and get out the system and stay like that. I want to be an example to my kids. I don't want them to keep seeing this, because then what example am I setting for them? It's not fair for them. It's not fair for me or them.
It's definitely not fair for them, right?
Yeah, it's not, really not. It's not the life, like I said, it's not the life I want to live. It's not for me. Like, this is the second time I'm being incarcerated, and I can't do this anymore.
And when you say you're not violent, I know by statute, the guns are not a violent crime, but they create violence.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you're right. And I said, I'm staying away from all that. I said, I do want to go for my pardon as well. Within 5-10 years from now, be able to build demonstrate a system that I can do this, and prove others wrong.
Oh, well, we want you to prove others wrong. Yeah. And when you go for a pardon down the road, we'll go back and we'll look and see, what you said you would do and what you did do to do better. All right. I have no other questions, Mr. Valdez. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Smith Palmieri. Looks like Telling Industries is a good place to be.
Yeah, it really is.
I just took a look at it online, and the type of stuff that they're doing, you have a good opportunity,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that was a great job. I loved it. The only thing that was the pandemic came out and we all got laid off due to the steel situation with the COVID, stuff like that. But been there 6-7 years and
Good.
I worked my way up in that business.
You got a good record with them. That's good. You know, it's an opportunity to provide for your family.
Right. It was a great job, and you know, ever since I didn't lose it, but since the layoff, that tore me all. You know, it messed up everything. But I'm definitely going back. That's for sure. And I'm staying with that job. And even if to relocate to one of their other locations in Arkansas and Ohio, that's where they're located at. I'm willing, so just to change everything all around.
There you go. Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, again, I can clearly, so let me start here. So Mr. Valdez sounds very sincere here today, and I'm assuming that that's why you all wanted to give him another opportunity to really prove himself. And there's no doubt in my mind that he has taken this time of incarceration to improve himself, to really work on some of the things that he needs to change to be a better person. My concern is that Mr. Valdez, this is not his first weapons conviction. He rates out very high in terms of risk to recidivate, and you couple that out in the street and he has to protect himself. We have more gun violence. While I can understand if the two of you do support his discretionary parole, I absolutely can see why. However, I am not in a position to do that just yet. I really feel like he has to prove himself to me. These gun charges don't get any more serious than these. So while I appreciate all the effort that he's put forward, I cannot support his discretionary parole today. Or why I said it.
Board Member Smith Palmieri.
I appreciate Ms. Barry's position on the parole decision. However, I was on Mr. Valdez's last hearing. They are incredibly serious charges. The underlying information behind them is really concerning as well. He did bring them back because he did at the beginnings of offender change at the last hearing.
Right.
So I remember, it's interesting that I do remember a lot of the case, just by looking at my notes, that he seemed to have recognized that he has children, he's a father, he needs to do better. He has this job to go back to that he was at for 6 years prior to being arrested.
Right.
He was arrested around the time that things were changing for us during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He has made some significant efforts to show that he can do the right things. Through programming. He's done 2 fatherhood programs. He has sort of changed his release plan, which I think could be a good thing for him. To go to a halfway house, gain some stability. And like I said, he does have a job to go back to that he was at for 6 years. So I would be in favor of giving him an opportunity out on discretionary parole. It's about a year, and then he would follow that with 3 years of special parole.
What would you have him do?
Halfway house. I would also do a mental health evaluation and treatment, no contact with FR without the parole officer's permission. And that's all I would have at this point.
Anything you see for?
No. Nope.
Regarding Anthony Valdez, 337-920, moved to grant parole on or after December 31st, 2024, with the following stipulations in addition to standard parole conditions. Halfway house placement, mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary, and general no contact with initials FR without parole officer's permission. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Mr. Valdez has been voted to parole. Your stipulations are going to get explained to you prior to your release. You know that we see positive things happening.
Right.
So continue to heed what Board Member Barry had to say here.
I mean, I definitely will take this very serious. I understand you guys go through a lot of different people, but me speaking for myself, I'm gonna take this very serious, like to the max extent. I don't want this not the life I want to live.
Yep.
It's not for me. My second time incarcerated, I thought things like this would have never happened, but I had to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's real. Like there's no joke to this. It's real, and I'm a level one. I'm a level one right now. I came a long way, and I could do a lot more just out of here, outside of here.
You sure can.
I will
There
do
you
so.
go.
Do
Happy
it.
New Year to you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Will you ask the officers for the next, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Edwards.
Hello.
Good morning, my name is Parole Officer Williams. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members are present this morning. By saying their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Panel Member Barry, good morning.
Please state your name. Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Kenneth Ray Edwards, 65621.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted for a parole application for Kenneth Edwards, 065621. He is serving a sentence of 6 years, execution of 30 months with 3 years of probation for criminal possession of a pistol, illegal operation of a motor vehicle under the influence. As in state record reflects a parole eligibility date of March 25th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shown the offender the following programs. Voices, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation scores. The offender's overall score for recidivism falls in a very high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole.
I didn't understand you.
Tell us why you think you deserve parole.
Hey, if you're gonna give it to me, give it to me. If not, I could go back. I'm not here to debate with y'all or nothing. If you're gonna grant me parole, grant it to me. If you're not gonna grant it to me, I got 5 months to go. As simple as that.
Well, Mr. Edwards, you make it very difficult to even consider you for parole.
I'm just being straight up. If you're gonna grant it to me, grant it to me. If not, I'll go back and I'll finish my time.
Okay. Well, why did you not want to cooperate with the parole officer?
I'm cooperating. I got caught with a gun. I'm guilty of that. Okay. I'm serving my time for that. I never said I didn't have it. I never said I didn't do it. If you're going to grant me parole, grant me parole. The reason I carry the gun, you want to know? Because I've been shot up 4 times. The reason I carry it for my protection. That's why I carried. I wasn't out there in the street looking for trouble or bothering nobody. I had it for my protection.
Well, you were driving a car intoxicated.
And I just had bought the car. I just had bought the car. I didn't get a chance to register. I lost the car because I got caught with a gun in it. That was a loss on me. I don't cry about nothing. If I did something, I earn up to it.
Well, you do own up to it. I do appreciate that. And I did notice that you took responsibility. My response, my statement was, you were carrying a firearm, driving a car intoxicated.
I was on my way home.
You were driving
I just had bought the car. I just had bought the car. I didn't get a chance to register anything. I lost the car.
Did you have the paperwork to support your having purchased the car?
Yes.
Did you show it to the officer?
It was at my house.
Well, then you can't drive a car without the paperwork inside, because anytime you purchase a car,
I realized that.
Yeah, and Mr. Edwards, you are prohibited from having a firearm. I understand you wanted it for your protection, and you were driving the car while drinking. After you had been drinking.
I'm not denying it, yes.
Okay.
And I got caught. And I'm in here.
Yes.
And I'm paying for it. I'm not asking nobody to do me no favor, do nothing for me. I am willing to do whatever I'm supposed to do. If I have to do all my time, I do all my time. If you ever want to grant me parole, don't grant it to me. I'm not gonna cry about it.
Mr. Edwards.
Yes.
Discretionary parole is something that's earned. And the way this happens, right, is we come into a hearing and we ask questions to see if any kind of change has happened in you, that you might go back out into the community and not commit the same offenses. That's why we're here. It's not like we're going to see what we give you for Christmas. It's we just want to ask some questions. And that's what the parole officer was also getting at, to see if you're a risk in the community. That's what it was about. So it's not either give it to me or don't.
I don't consider myself a risk in the community. I'm gonna go back out. Either way, I'm gonna go back out and I'm gonna be the same person I was. I'm gonna live my life the way I was living it. I wasn't out there causing hectic, commotions or anything against nobody. The only person I hurt was me by driving a car with unregistered car and carrying a gun. That ain't hurt no one but me.
Well, you can't, are you telling us that you're going to go back out in the community and just carry another firearm for protection?
Yeah, I didn't say that. I said I'm going back out and live my life accordingly. I'm 67 years old. What I look like going back out in the street again, carrying another gun. I'm retired now. I'm going back out and live my life accordingly and enjoy the rest of my life. That's what I'm planning on doing.
Do you think you need help for your alcohol use?
No.
No?
No.
Right, I have no other questions, Mr. Chair.
We're going to bury anything.
No questions. Nope.
No.
Go ahead.
Mr. Edwards makes it very difficult to consider him for discretionary parole. You know, the alcohol use is an issue, and he doesn't seem to understand that drinking and driving is a crime in itself. Whether or not the car was registered or belonged to him or bought, and carrying a firearm is a crime, and he doesn't seem to have an understanding of it. He scores very high for risk to recidivate at the age of 67. So I do not have him voted to discretionary parole today.
Okay,
He hasn't given us any.
Okay, let me go. I'll go do my last 5 months.
Hang on. What criminal history?
It's criminal history,
Inadequate evidence, offender change?
and he doesn't have a relapse prevention plan. Like, he's
And
very,
then institutional program participation.
Okay. So regarding Kenneth Edwards, 065621, move to deny parole based upon criminal history, inadequate evidence of offender change, and inadequate institutional program participation. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Edwards, We weren't able to give you.
Thank you. Y'all have a nice day.
All right. We hope you have a good New Year.
Okay, bye. Bye.
05621.
I told you what I was going to do. No. If y'all don't play, you're not the one sitting here wasting time.
Last one, Mr. McClure.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, my name is Paroles Williams. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Parties and Parole. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certify they reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, Mike Paul. Good morning. Sorry.
Good morning.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Panel Member Berry, good morning.
Good
Please
morning,
state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Guerino Magloire and 255-393.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Guerino Magalor, 255-393. He is serving a sentence of 10 years execution suspended after 5 years with 10 years of probation for sexual assault second degree. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of May 23rd, 2023. There is no victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board previously in December 13, 2023. He was denied parole with a new hearing date set for December of 2024. The board recommended that the inmate transfer to a facility that's a sex offender program, complete voicing, and remain DR free. Since the last hearing, the offender has completed the following programs: voices and short-term sex offender program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender's overall score for recidivism rating falls in the moderate range. There's also a static 99 score, which equals a 5, which stands for the moderate/high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you think you should be granted parole. Again.
You can, do you have a statement for us, sir?
Yes, sir. I come here to speak to you, sir, and the ladies about how I feel and the reason that I'm here to for parole to see if I could be granted is because I'm very sympathetic about what I've done since I've been sitting for the 5 years in jail, almost 5 years in jail. I went through my programs. I've done everything that they have asked me to do. I don't get into fights. I don't get into arguments. I try to stay humble. I read my Bible. I did classes at Cheshire. I did carpentry at Cheshire. And I also has a job, a teaming job here that I've been doing also. I talk to my kids and stuff like that. They all missing me. My family miss me. They miss me for certain functions that I have not been around for. And then my nephews as well. And I feel so remorseful for the parent of the child that, you know, I made a mistake on. And I would wish to, if she ever hear from you guys that, you know, to tell her that I apologize for that. You know, at the time, I wasn't thinking too well clearly, but since I've been in here and I learned about the sex behavior program and learn about the victims with the voices, that kind of gave me a clear mind to understand, not to do the wrong from the bad. And that's the reason that I'm here, to see if there's any way it possible God would bless you guys if you're able to allow me to go out to be with my family again. I can't say I promise that this not gonna happen, because that's not always a thing when you say, oh, I promise. No, I'm not gonna say I promise, but I will definitely try do my best to keep myself away from situations like that again.
All right, Mr. Magloire, we've read about your background, what you've accomplished since you've been in, what you've accomplished since the last hearing. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to discuss your case and give you a decision, okay?
Yes, sir.
So this is a rehear. They heard you the first time, and they wanted you to take the short-term treatment program for problem section behavior, right?
Yes, sir.
So what did you learn in that program that would be your risk factors in terms of reoffending? What are risk factors?
Risk factors for me was the relapse of being around certain friends that was not good out there with me. That's one of them that I learned not to be around, friends hanging out.
Being around, like what friends?
Well, I have some friends like in Sanford, friends in New Haven and stuff like that, that I've been around. They not really that good, because all they do is like drink and hang out and don't really do much. So
Your problem is being around friends who are drinking. That means that you are.
Yes, I was before that.
So, okay. So then what was another one of the risk factors?
And the other risk factors is when I'm with friends drinking, my mind is not clear of thinking when that happens, and that allows me to make mistakes that I should not be making. But as far as me being here, like I said, for almost 4 to 5 years, I've been sober, and I've been sitting and thinking about it and beat myself down in remorsefulness of the victim and, in that daughter of hers.
So drinking's the problem because when you drink to the point of intoxication and you commit offenses like this, right?
Yes, when I drink, yes.
Right. Not really a mistake. It's not really a mistake. It's I drank and then I sexually offend, right? That's what happened, right?
Well, I don't drink, sir, to just go and sexually offend. That's not exactly.
No, but that's what happens. Do you see how this works?
Yeah.
If I drink, my inhibitions go down, my head gets messed up, and now I'm offending against somebody. You follow that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
So then let's take a look at the mitigation when it comes to these risk factors. What are you going to do so that you don't drink and be around the people who are? What's the plan there?
Well, my plan, sir, is to continue being on my medication, which is working well for me, both of them, and to stay away from alcohol. That's really is my plan. I don't have no urges for it anymore since I've been inside, and really, I really don't want to touch it. People would tell me, you could drink a little wine. I say to them, nope, I'm not touching nothing. I don't want anything.
Let's take a look at that for a second. How often did you drink when you were in the community?
Most of the time, like maybe 3, 4, 5 days out of the week.
Okay, so you know that what goes on there is you are consuming alcohol to the point that you're offending, right? So do you think you're an alcoholic?
Well, I mean, I was an alcoholic, sir.
What do you think would happen if you took a drink now?
If I take a drink, it's gonna bring me back to the way I was before, and I don't want to go back to that route, sir.
So, right. So the thing is like I used to be, that's not a thing. Because if I drink now, I'm going to do what I did before. Because I heard what you said in the beginning. I can't promise that, right?
Yes, I did say that I can't promise not making a mistake. Because
you follow that, right?
Yeah,
so
yes.
If I drank, that's a risk factor. I could be reoffending, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what do you do to take care of that? Have you gone to AA meetings at all?
Yes. Yes, I have done AA meeting in Cheshire when I was there like 3 years or so.
Are those helpful?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So would you do that again when you go into the community?
Yes, I definitely would. I definitely would do that again.
It does a couple of things, right?
Yeah, it helps.
It helps you with not drinking.
Yes.
But meetings out here aren't like meetings inside.
No.
Meetings out here, you find friends and people with common interests, one of which is they are all trying to not drink.
Yes. Yes,
right?
sir.
To live the sober lifestyle.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Does that make sense?
Yes, it is. It really makes sense to me.
Do you think that would be something that you would do?
Yes, sir. I definitely want to do that. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that's because both of those risk factors, right? The friends group you choose.
Yes.
And consuming alcohol gets us going down a road that
not supposed to go, sir. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Do you think there's any other things that you might want to do?
Yes, there's other things that I want to accomplish. I want to finish college. I was going to college for a while. I have grades in other how you call that, other lessons and stuff that I needed to get done, that I have to go back and finish it so I can get that degree that I've been looking to get. And then also at the veterans groups and stuff that I go to, I usually mix in with the veterans, trying to help with certain things that they do.
What veterans groups do you participate with?
I had participated in the behavioral group at the vets. I had participated in how you call it's like a when you meditating. I have participated in a meditation group.
Yeah. So is that at West Haven?
Yes, the one that was in West Haven. But I think they're in Orange now. They're not down. They used to be down on the Post Road, like going into New Haven. But I heard they moved now up towards Orange more.
So that raises a question for me. Because what you told the parole officers that you'd be interested in a halfway house in Hartford.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't you be interested in a halfway house in New Haven?
Well, I did put Hartford or Waterbury because those places also has the same facilities to help.
So you'd go to Newington, instead of West Haven.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I'm going to pass it on and see if any of the other board members have questions here. Board
Yes.
Member Perry, anything?
Thank you, Mr. Poole. So, Mr. Magloire, I had some issues, first of all, with the statement that you made. I can't promise that this is never going to happen again. That's very concerning to me as a board member, because while we know we want to make sure that this will never happen again. That's what we base our decisions on people who we believe will return to the community and be law-abiding, contributing members of our society. And for you to sit here and say that I can't make that promise, while I respect your being honest, I really struggle with that statement, because nobody else's child deserves to suffer through this ever again. And when my colleague talked to you about alcohol reducing your inhibitions, that is quite true. However, it lowers your inhibitions to a point where now you feel like it's okay for me to do these things that I was already thinking of prior to my being under the influence. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, sir?
Yes,
While this helps you go on to that next step, makes you think that it's okay for you to do, you already have those thoughts in your head about sexually offending. So it's really important that you get to the bottom of why you behave this way and why when you drink alcohol, it makes it even worse. Kind of thing is what I'm trying to tell you. And I also read that you have a detainer and that you're going to be deported back to Haiti. And you told us that you're afraid of going back to Haiti because you're afraid that you're going to be killed.
Yes, ma'am, because I raised here in the United States since I came when I was 11 and a half, going on 12 in 1984.
No, I understand that. But unfortunately, the person who's taking over our current administration, he's going to make sure that people like yourself are deported back. So it's really important, sir, that you try to at least get ahead of the curve, because you will be returned. And I suggest that you get your affairs in order so that when you are over there, perhaps you can avoid some of that, some of where you think you'll be assaulted or assassinated but unless you have you started trying to fight your being deported?
Yes, I have. Well, my son, and I have a person that I give power of attorney to down in North Carolina, is my daughter's aunt. She has power of attorney of over me right now. She's trying.
And what's going on with that? Has she started the paperwork already?
Yes, she had done the paperwork and she sent it to me. I already signed it and had it notarized, and I sent it. Yeah, I sent it back.
So you don't have a new hearing date?
What happened?
You don't have a new hearing date to meet with the ICE?
No,
people?
I haven't heard anything from them. I have not spoken to them nor see them. My people's been trying to contact. They can't. They telling me something about wait till I go to the hearing date, but they have not given me any type of
Yeah.
hearing date.
It's unfortunate, that, I think that the moment that we say that you're going to be granted, or if we grant your discretionary parole, the process will begin.
The
So,
process. But
the
I
process.
really would appreciate, I know that you say they're gonna send me back, but, the reason that I'm saying that, I don't mind if you grant me, the mistake that I've made before. And the reason I said
So, Mr. Magalor, I want to be perfectly clear. Wave your arm because of the light went off in that room that you're in. I want to be perfectly clear. If we grant your discretionary parole today, you'll be transported to a halfway house where you'll wait for ICE to pick you up and you will be returned. You won't reunite with your family. That's not going to happen, sir. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
yes.
So if we say we're going to vote you to parole today, that's what's going to happen. They're not going to give you time to fight a case. If the detainer is there, they're going to deport you.
Oh, so they're gonna take me right back.
They're going to take you right back in a matter of days.
So even though the country is in turmoil the way it is,
that's not our concern. Fortunately, that's out of our control. Yeah. All right. I just wanted to, cross the T's and dot the I's because it is what it is.
Board Member Smith-Cohen.
I have no follow-up questions.
So where I am here is that the last hearing asked him to go do certain things, which he did. My exploring risk factors with him came down to concern over alcohol, which I am sure, based upon our training with the Center for the Treatment of Problem Sexual Behavior, is something that they handle. And they will certainly explore and come up with ways of mitigating those risk factors. Where I am in this case, I think he's done everything that we have asked of him, and I would support his parole today. Board Member Baer.
Sir Chair, I too would support his discretionary parole. He has done what the prior panel asked him to do, and I do believe that he has earned discretionary parole. However, given our discussion that I just had with him about his being deported, I think that if that's not something that he really wants to happen, that his being there in the facility is not what he wants to happen either. However, I think he'd have a better chance of fighting his detainer there, opposed to being sent out of the country and trying to get back. So while I do appreciate the strides that he's made to turn his life around, I would deny his discretionary parole today to give him a little more time to focus on that detainer. That's where I am.
Board
So-
Member Smith-Palmieri.
It's an interesting discussion. Right.
I can add a little bit to it.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So
Please.
my take on this is that we parole him today, because I don't think they can't elect a Speaker of the House. I don't think the Trump administration is going to be in a position in the next 30 days, which is what they'll hold him to deport him. So I think that having the judge in place that can hear what Mr. Magloire has to say in an unbiased way, would be a good thing. And obviously the hold on an ICE detainer is only 30 days, which means that if we parole him today, January 31st, the state is no longer obliged to hold somebody
Really?
past that date. Yes.
No, I was told 90 days.
No,
That changed?
it's definitely right on the
cusp.
the detainer. The commitment is to hold for 30 days.
Oh,
So
you mean it's right? Okay.
rather than hold him until November, because I do agree in terms of things. I don't want to make less of what happened in this offense.
No, of course not.
But I don't want to wait for 11 months to pass. Who knows what's going to happen.
Sir Chair, can I just recommend that we just take a brief recess just for a second so that we can check with the supervisor over the detainer piece? What is it? Interstate, yeah. So that we could just
Sure.
Just
why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Take a motion to have a brief recess. Is there a second?
A second.
Those in favor?
Aye. We're still
I would be willing to grant discretionary parole.
And Sir Chair, if I can just on the
Sure, go ahead.
record as well, because I know that we took a brief recess because we were discussing what would be in the best interest of Mr. Magalor in terms of his detainer. And while we really didn't get any definitive information on what exactly is going to occur, I think that Mr. Magalor would have the best opportunity to dispute this immigration detainer if he is granted discretionary parole. So I would support discretionary parole as well.
As I would. I have no alcohol consumption,
Yes, sir.
halfway house placement,
Thank you. Thank you.
halfway house placement,
Mhm.
release the ICE detainer, problem sexual behavior treatment,
Mhm.
no contact
Yes.
with minors without parole officer's permission, and no
Yes.
contact with SM.
I have, did you say no alcohol
Yes.
Yes,
and mental health evaluation?
I did.
I'm sorry, Parole Supervisor Brooks.
I just want to address it's an administrative, so it's not actually like your best.
Okay. Perfect.
Just want to read that.
Thank you.
Okay. Some mental health evaluation.
I do have that, yes. These are 3, so
Yes.
Okay. So how do you say your first name?
Guerino, sir.
Okay, in regard to Guerino Magloire 255393, I move to grant parole on or after December 31st, 2024 with the following stipulations. No
Thank you.
alcohol consumption, halfway house placement, mental health evaluation and treatment deemed necessary, release to ICE detainer, community-based treatment for problem sexual behavior, for problem sexual behavior treatment, no contact with minors without the parole officer's permission, and no contact with victim SM. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And Mr. Magloire has been voted to parole.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you. I will not disappoint you again. I will not let this happen. I cannot be in here no more. I appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you guys.
We really wish you, the best of luck, and we certainly
Yes.
hope that you'll be able to stay and go through treatment. And
Yes, yes, I will. I'm gonna do the best like I've done here. I'm gonna go do my best to understand what I've been doing wrong so I can correct that. I appreciate you. Thank you for the chance.
Best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys. Happy New Year.
you too.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Hey guys, hey, thank you. That was going to be the last hearing for the night. Really appreciate you guys tuning in to You Have a Collect Call From. Anyhow, I got some other pending things going on, family things. I'm going to be heading out. And thank you guys for tuning in. Happy New Year to everybody that tuned in. And like I said around here, it lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it lights out. And with that, we're out to 2025.